to make this video because I realized that Chris and I haven't really opened up a whole lot about our fertility journey. I know I've talked to a few of you about it, but I haven't really been open about the whole process. If you hear like a weird cat hacking sound, it's my kitten. He's my baby kitten. He's sick. So anyways, I wanted to share this video because I feel like it's something I need to do for me and to help motivate me, and to also just be open about everything and not hide anything or be ashamed about infertility, and just to kind of show you what the process is like and what women have to go through if they do have infertility or they're not able to get pregnant. So anyways, Chris and I had started about 4 years ago to try to have a baby. It was pretty shortly after we met, but we both knew that we wanted to spend our lives together, that we wanted a family, and I knew that I would have difficulty getting pregnant just because of like symptoms that I've been having and things I'd noticed in the past about my body and my cycles. And so we tried for about 6 months, and then I started seeing my OBGYN, and she told me that we were going to do some basic fertility tests just to see, and those results came back normal. So I was like, okay. But she put me on a drug called Clomid, and Clomid basically helps women to ovulate. So I tried 3 rounds of Clomid, and on the 3rd round, I ovulated for like the first time ever. I mean, I don't know if I've ever ovulated in the past, but this was the only time that I knew for sure that I'd ever ovulated. But I didn't get pregnant, and I told her that, and she's like, okay, well, I'm gonna refer you to an endocrinologist, a reproductive endocrinologist, because she suspected that I had PCOS, which is polycystic ovarian syndrome. It's an endocrine disorder which causes hormonal imbalance, infertility, and all kinds of other side effects like weight gain and elevated androgens, which is actually a male hormone. All women have testosterone in their bodies, but in women with PCOS, it's higher than it should be. It also causes like acne and inability to lose weight, and anxiety and depression and all of these other things. And it also causes insulin resistance. Insulin is basically, like it's what helps your body to process sugar. And a lot of diabetics have insulin resistance. But you don't necessarily have diabetes if you have PCOS. It's just like more likely for you to develop diabetes later on, because it does cause your body to not process insulin the way it should. So I went to a reproductive endocrinologist, and he actually put me on a drug for diabetics called metformin, to try and help lower my sugar levels so that my hormones would get balanced, so that I would hopefully ovulate and lose weight. So I went on that, and I had to get off of it within like literally 3 days after I started taking it, because I felt like I was going to pass out. My insulin levels were dropping way too low, and my doctor told me that was dangerous, that you could even go into, I'm sorry, my kitten is like stuck underneath the cabinet and he's not coming out, and he's sneezing a lot. Come on, Charlie. Anyway, sorry. So then after that, after he pulled me off of the drug, I went back to my OBGYN, and she told me, okay, well, let's try Clomid again. I'll do another 3 rounds. I'm not supposed to, but I'll just, because she wasn't monitoring me with, you're supposed to get monitored with ultrasounds every month to make sure that you're actually ovulating on the drug, and that your follicles are big enough, and that your eggs are being produced, and that it's working. And so, but I didn't do that because my insurance didn't cover it, and ultrasounds are extremely expensive. So we opted not to do monitoring, and I was just taking the drug to see if it would help. And so she did another 3 rounds, and I didn't ovulate. Nothing happened. So then she's like, I'm sorry, like there's nothing I can do. You're gonna have to go to a fertility clinic. So I went to a fertility clinic. Actually, before I went to the fertility clinic, I went to a naturopathic, I guess he was a naturopathic doctor. He was, basically he did acupuncture, and he did like Chinese herbs and medicine and stuff like that. And he did acupressure and all this stuff. So I went to him for 6 months, and he did like a series of acupuncture on me for fertility, and you know, he gave me herbs that I had to take every month for menstrual regularity and everything, and I didn't see any improvement really. I mean, there was a lot of good things that came of it. I felt better. I felt my depression was getting a lot better. I felt like I had more energy, but I didn't really see a difference in my cycles, and that's why I was there. So and it was like $350 a month. So we basically stopped after 6 months. I went to a fertility clinic that he recommended, and the doctor there was so nice, and she was like, you know, we're gonna get you a baby, don't worry, like it's gonna happen. And I was excited, and she was like, okay, well, let's just start with I think you have PCOS, but I just want to make sure. So I'm going to have you do an ultrasound, and I'm going to have you do blood work, which, you know, I've already done that like 2 times in the past. So I'm like, whatever. Okay, let's do this. So I did the blood work, and I did the ultrasound, and I saw the results come up on my phone because I had this app that told me, like, you know, your results have come in. This is your results. But I was waiting for the doctor to call me because she was supposed to. So a week went by, and she didn't call. So I called them, and I was like, hey, you know, I got my results back. I was supposed to hear from a doctor about making a follow-up appointment. And she's like, the lady that worked at the front desk was like, yeah, that's kind of weird. I don't know why she didn't get back to you. I'll let her know. And I was like, okay, thanks. And then another week went by, and nobody called me. So I called them again, and I left a voicemail. Nobody answered. And I also emailed the doctor, and she never got back to me. And then I think I tried one more time to call them, and nothing. So then by that point, I was fed up. It had already been like a month since I had first seen the doctor, and I hadn't heard anything. So I was like, okay, whatever. Like, I guess I'll just stop. So then after that, I think there was like maybe a 5 or 6 month period where we weren't really trying actively to do anything. And then I went and saw my actually I lost my insurance, and I started to get I was on my husband's insurance through Kaiser, so I had a new OBGYN. So I went to see this new OBGYN, and I saw the nurse practitioner there first, and she's like, oh yeah, like let's do some blood work, and let's do another ultrasound. I'm like, oh my gosh, okay. So I did it, and I came back with small cysts on my ovaries, which is a symptom of PCOS. And my blood results came back a little abnormal. Like my testosterone was a little elevated, and my follicle stimulating hormone and my luteinizing hormone were like out of whack. Like they weren't they were in the normal range, but they weren't the right ratio to suggest that I was ovulating. Let me see if I can get my kitten out. Oh, he went on the other side. Come on, Charlie, you want to see everybody? This is my new baby, but he's really sick right now. Yeah, so we're just trying to take care of him. Want to go on the bed? There we go. So anyways, so then the nurse practitioner told me, well, we're going to put you on birth control for 6 months to see if your body regulates. I'm going to see you in 3 months for a follow-up just to see how you're doing. And then after the 6 months on birth control, we'll see where we're going to go from there. I want you to try to lose weight and all this stuff while you're on the birth control, and we'll see if it regulates your hormones. I was like, okay. Well, about 2 months into the birth control, and I had horrible side effects. I was having really bad migraines. I was getting very severely depressed. And so I called my doctor, and I was like, you know, this isn't working for me. And they're like, oh, the doctor is actually not here at the clinic right now. She won't be back. She's on vacation. She won't be back till, I think it was like another week. I was like, okay. And they're like, we'll leave a message for you to have her call you back when she can. Well, a couple days went by, and I was just like, you know what? I'm just going to go off this birth control because I'm having really bad side effects and nobody's getting back to me. And So I went off the birth control, and then I went to my 3-month follow-up appointment. And she was just like, you know, I really wish that you hadn't gone off of it without telling me. And I was like, well, I tried to tell you. I called your office. I left a message. I was saying that I was having really bad side effects. And I thought it was the right thing to do. And she was like, okay, well, I'm not going to work with you anymore because you didn't follow my plan. So I'm going to refer you to you're going to have to go see the actual OB/GYN doctor. So then I made an appointment. It took about a month to go see the OB/GYN because he was so busy. So I finally get in to see the OB/GYN, and he has me do another ultrasound test. Then he puts me on Clomid again, which I'd already done Clomid, and he puts me on the same dose, and I'd already done Clomid, and it didn't work the first time on that dose. In the first 6 cycles I was on it, it didn't work. But he put me on it again, and I took it for 3 rounds, and it didn't even make me ovulate at all. So then, after that, he switched me to this drug called letrozole. And letrozole is basically a drug for women with breast cancer, but its side effects actually help women who have PCOS. It affects your estrogen levels and all that, your hormones. So it's supposed to make you ovulate. So I went on that for 3 cycles at the lowest dose, and I didn't ovulate. And so then after that, I lost my insurance with my OB/GYN, and I went on to my husband's insurance through Kaiser. So I was excited. I was like, yay, I'm going to go see a new OB/GYN. It's going to be great. He's going to have new ideas, yada, yada, yada. So I go to my doctor, my primary care physician, to meet her for the first time. I guess this was about a month ago, before this whole coronavirus thing really hit. And she told me to, obviously, that I needed to lose weight. But then she said, oh, there's a fertility clinic through Kaiser. You can go to them. You know, they'll, do you want down? Do you want down? Yeah? Okay. So basically she told me yeah, there's this fertility clinic you can go to through Kaiser, and they'll help you, and you don't even have to have a referral. You can just call this number. I was like, cool. Okay, I'm gonna get to go to a fertility clinic through Kaiser, and this is gonna be awesome, and my insurance is gonna help me cover it. Yeah, no. So I call the fertility clinic a week ago, and they're like, oh, your insurance doesn't cover anything fertility related, so we can't even make an appointment with you. I was like, I thought I had read somewhere online that it said the first 2 appointments were free, but she's like, oh, I don't know where you read that at. That's not correct information. So sorry. So I was like, okay. So there's that door shut on us. So we're going to have to now we're at this point where we're either going to have to go to a fertility clinic, pay out of pocket to have more tests done, to have more procedures done, to save up for IVF, which is probably what my future is going to hold, since these other fertility drugs haven't worked, and or we're gonna have to adopt, or both. So my husband and I have been talking a lot about what our options are and what we're comfortable doing, and we've kind of exciting but kind of scary. So at the end of this year, I'm turning 30, and I kind of made this sort of plan, I guess, this timeline that Chris and I are going to keep trying naturally to have a baby until December, which is my birthday. And if by the time the year is up, and I don't get pregnant naturally, then we're gonna start the adoption process in January. Basically, we're gonna try to foster to adopt through the county. So we want to foster a baby and then have it go towards the adoption process in the event that the parent doesn't want the child back. So that's what we've discussed. And then in the future, if we want any more children, when I'm 33 or whatever, we already have one baby, either through naturally or through adoption, we'll have to save up to get to the point where we can do IVF, because IVF is in vitro fertilization. It's the sort of the last ditch effort for a lot of women with infertility issues to basically what they do is they extract your eggs, and they take your husband's sperm and they put it in a petri dish, and they have it like grow in the petri dish, and then when it's done growing or it hits a certain stage, then they put it into your uterus. But the process itself, you have to pay for hormone injections, you have to pay for ultrasound visits, you have to pay for labs, you have to pay for the actual process, like the actual surgery. It's basically like a procedure where they put you under anesthesia and they do this process with your eggs and in the sperm. It's going to cost about $20,000 per cycle, per round. And one round is about a 20 to 30% chance success rate at getting pregnant. So it's not that great. And at $20,000, that's a lot of money to invest in something that isn't that likely of a positive outcome. So that's where we're at. So right now I'm kind of looking at, I wanted to create this video and kind of show you guys what's happened in the past that's brought me to this point now, and then moving forward, I want to kind of bring you along and kind of on my weight loss journey and on my getting healthy journey, because in order to get pregnant naturally, like as I am now, I have to lose weight, I have to be healthy, I have to be mind, body, spirit healthy, in order for this to give myself the best chances that I can to become pregnant myself with my own eggs and my husband's sperm. Like, it has to be me. I have to really step up and lose the weight and get things normal and regulated. And I mean, it's gonna be a challenge. I have a lot of resistance to change, I think, because I'm scared and because it's a big deal and it's a lot of effort and it's a lot of work, and I know it may not help my chances at all. At the end in December, I may not be pregnant, and I may not have, I could have lost 60 pounds and still not be pregnant. And I know I shouldn't just, say I want to be pregnant, or I know I shouldn't just lose the weight just to get pregnant. Like, I should lose it to be happy with myself and who I am and to make myself feel better and to be whole. But I mean, it is a lot of effort when you think about it, for not a surefire thing that's gonna help, but it's the best thing I can do for myself. So I know this video is getting kind of long, I'm sorry. So basically, I just want to take you along on this journey and I want you to help motivate me, and obviously I want to be open and honest with you about everything that's going on, and hopefully by the end of this year we will get pregnant. And if not, if after all these changes and all the weight loss that I've done, if I don't end up getting pregnant, then next year we get to look forward to the adoption process, which is super exciting. Like, at least I know then that I have a baby, like, at the end of the road, and at the end of all of it, it's gonna be worth it either way. So yeah, so just look out for other future videos about my journey. The next video I'll probably film will probably just be like my current weight, and then like what I'm doing, like what I'm eating, and my exercise routine and like stuff like that, what supplements I'm taking, what vitamins I'm taking, and all that, just to kind of like a start for this journey. So yeah, thanks so much for watching.